Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth, is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome!
Yeah! Can you believe that there are some people in this world that did not tune in to the Alliance Vlog podcast? Shame on you! Shame on you! My name is Ella Envy, and I'm one half of the NWA Women's World Tag Team Champion, and I'm Kiki Page, the other half of the NWA World Women's Tag Team Champion. And you better go listen to the Alliance Vlog, what is it called? Podcast, period. You're ugly. Period. Power approved.
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop and Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance Vlog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
Hey guys, check this out. I am officially now sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink made to give you focus with no crash. If you guys are like me, you're always needing a burst of energy, especially with one with no crash. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. It keeps me awake with no jitters, guys. Check it out. Merch link is in the bio. Dubby. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Pre-Party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Cal, and it is Tuesday, and you know what that means. It means we're here to talk some NWA. Let me move that mic a little bit closer. We're here to talk pro wrestling, ladies and gentlemen, but not just any pro wrestling. We're talking about the next step. Right? We're talking about that next level. 2.0. What is up? Hey, I see some friends just popped in the chat here. So let me say hi to everybody because it's kind of romper room status, but we're going to do it anyways. I see Tim from the Alliance. I see Steve G. I see Demonetized Mike. I see Willie Bowen. Now that Tyrus is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, he can be the before on men's weight loss pictures. Yes, I see Jason Newsom. What's up, Jay? I see. Oh, I already saw Alliance. The only man whose belt is Equator. Sheesh. I see Dodie. Excited for Power. I am too, man. And I see Miss Pam, Miss Polka Dot Pam. How are you? What is up, everybody? Very excited to be talking NWA today. Very excited to be talking wrestling. Because it's, I got to tell you, I'm still on a high from last week. And although it's been now seven days since last I was at a NWA event, I'm fired up, guys. I think tonight is the 2.0. I think you're going to see some new look, new feel for the NWA. It's like putting on a new suit. You're going to look like $1 million, I guarantee it. I'm very excited to see what you guys think about the production and what you guys think about the way that it's going to look. Having been there myself, I've kind of told you what I thought about it. I've given you hints. We've talked about like there's upgrades to the camera equipment, there's upgrades to the entrance. As Pam has mentioned, that they filmed things before the show. that we didn't get to see live. So hopefully, like, I think it's the entrances will look different. Polka Dot Pam says she's excited for the new look of Power. I am too, man. Are we gonna have a new entrance theme music for tonight? Or are we having a new? Is it going to be a pumpkin song? Or are we going to go back in time and go back to back before the attack or into the fire? I mean, what are we going to get tonight? Gosh, I'm excited. And Steve G asked earlier, is there a new Power tonight? Boy, howdy, there is a new Power tonight. We've got some of the matches already here on the screen. Not on the screen, but we will have them on the screen. How did I miss those? Okay, well, we have a couple of matches. We have the 6-man tag match with the Southern Six actually teaming up for once. They'll be taking on the Fixers. You've got a tag team match with the Immortals taking on the Outrunners. That should be a fun match. The Immortals reunited on the first episode of Power, so we're getting excited to see that. We've also got... it looks like the Spectaculars are finally just null and void, right? Like, I feel like the Spectaculars are done. We kind of saw it hinted at the last set of the last pay-per-view when the 21-man Battle Royal, when Brady Pierce turned his back on both Rolando and Rush Freeman. The other graphics that I don't have are apparently there's also going to be a women's TV title match with Max the Impaler taking on Taylor Rising, the up-and-comer. She had a great showcase at the Burke Invitational, and I think she, I can tell you she has a really good matchup set up for Power. I can't give anything away. I don't want to give anything away. And then also we're going to have our world's heavyweight champion. He's going to make an appearance, I believe, on this episode and talk some wrestling. Oh, and our pal Adden is here. Pal Adden. And Mandy's here. Hey, Mandy, how are you? I want to look. I'm not here to make anyone feel bad. You're all part of the alliance. If you're here watching, guess what? You've been deputized. You're part of the crew. I've been working on the video for our meet and greet that we had in St. Louis. And number one, I didn't really do a good job of videotaping. I literally just put a camera down and started talking. So it's not like there was nothing like I was looking to try to produce anything. I just wanted to have it to share later. And I mean, it's not the most interesting thing in the world. But if you want to hear us talk some wrestling, our pal Luthez had some photos of the I believe it was the Kiel Auditorium in St. Louis. So check, you guys can check that out. I think I'll drop it this weekend if I get it done in time. The new show is going to be awesome. Also, on the YouTube channel, since you guys are already here, if you hadn't taken a look yet, I recently posted a match with our pal Mystico. You might know him as Sin Cara in the old WWE. He's teaming up with the new Mascara Dorado 2.0. He takes on Los Desperades. Sorry if I'm butchering the name, but you guys can check that out. Some Lucha Libre wrestling. If you're into that, it's up there. Also, we had a little bit of the video from Violent J getting pie-faced, cream-pied at the most recent pay-per-view. That was kind of a fun little thing. Tyrus's farewell speech. If you didn't hear that, you could hear that on the channel. And, of course, we're putting up shorts almost every day. You can check out a new short on the YouTube channel. Today's short is Gangrel dropping elbows on Zicky Dice. It was kind of cool to see Zicky Dice return to the NWA. So it'll be interesting how things kind of go. Let me see some of the comments that you guys have, because that's kind of what we're here for. Demonetized Mike. Mike, we love you, buddy. I hope you can appreciate it. You get a nickname when you've earned one. And you've earned it. Let's see. I'm curious to see the new show. Paladin, I'm telling you, man, it looks good. And I think tonight's matchups are pretty good. I mean, look, I'm not a huge Rolando fan, so I'll tell you right now that it's not one of my favorite matches, but you're seeing a new side of Brady Pierce. I think that in and of itself, because it's telling the story, is going to make that interesting. Also, when you look at the show, we get to see the Southern Six as a unit in the ring. Now, we've seen them work together, whether it be like coming down to the ring or cutting a promo, but we haven't seen them tag as a threesome yet. We saw a little bit of that in Australia, but nothing in the States, nothing against this NWA roster. So it's kind of a test to see them. And even though it's not Jay Bradley's Fixers, it's still the Fixers. It's still got Matt Vine, still got Wrecking Ball Legursky. So it's still the Fixers, but obviously it's a little bit watered down without Bradley. Let's see some of your guys' comments. Are you allowed to say, was Heather Monroe on 75 only, or might we see her on Power? I did not see any matches involving Heather Monroe. And that hurts because I'm a big fan of Heather Monroe. I like Heather Monroe quite a bit. So for her not to be there is kind of a bummer. But that doesn't mean she won't be with the NWA going forward. That is her literal, I guess, third appearance on NWA programming. The pay-per-view, plus she was on the TV a couple of months ago with Ray Lynn, and then obviously before that she had wrestled against Camille on the Primetime Live series that was shown on NWA High Voltage. So wouldn't be surprised to see her return, but I also know she is in the Midwest, so maybe it was just a booking of convenience. Maybe she'll be back the next time they're in Highland Park. I don't know. That's what happened. They took a cream pie and they shoved it right in his face, Dodie. I don't know what more I can say about that. Violent J does have a history of wrestling, so I can't hate too much, and I do enjoy their music. Paladin, you a juggalo? Where's your Hatchet Man tattoo? Sam Retro, what's up, brother? Yeah, thanks for checking it out while you're at work. We make great background noise. That's what I've been told anyways. Yeah, go watch Power tonight when you get off work. I think you're going to be very happy with it. Willie says NWA Pro Wrestling should have matches in Houston and Texas, the Mid-Atlantic, SoCal, and the Mid-South arenas. I mean, Willie, you're really asking for a lot. The NWA has had almost zero presence without David Marquez in Southern California in the last 25 years. I don't foresee Billy coming to work in Southern California. I mean, they had the opportunity with the Smashing Pumpkins concert in Irvine. I'm sure there are promotions out here who wouldn't mind working with Billy, and some of his guys, some of the NWA roster actually reside out here. So it wouldn't strike me. It wouldn't be crazy for the NWA to be here. I just don't feel like that's a market that's going to get a lot of penetration for the NWA. Dave Marquez worked harder than anybody to promote that NWA banner, and still, like, we never had thousands of people at an NWA event here in Southern California. In Vegas, they did. And Vegas would be a wonderful place for the NWA. The Orleans Arena was a huge venue for that Dave Marquez ran. If Billy were to be bold and try to run that venue, I think that'd be great. But then there's Slamtown Live, which is where Future Stars of Wrestling tapes. Ring of Honor has taped there. Impact has taped there. And I believe New Japan Strong is coming there in October. But you know what would be really cool? Sorry, I'm throwing stuff now. Is that the NWA and the relationship they have with La Rebelión, with Mecha Wolf, a show in Mexico. We don't necessarily need Mexico City. How about Tijuana? Right? The Crash runs there. Lucha Libre runs there. Promociones de Lucha Libre. Also, AAA is running there this month. So, I mean, would it kill the NWA to have a show in TJ? I don't think so. Hey, Game Changer went down there. Why not? Let's see. Our pal Jeremy says, hello, Alliance, and welcome to the pre-party. Yeah, brother. Thank you for being here, man. Yes, and it does help if you guys hit that thumbs up and like the videos. Leaving comments after the videos also help with the algorithm. Appreciate you. With Andrews gone, will AJ team with his brother or go solo? Dave Scooby, all these questions and more will be answered on this season of NWA POWERRR. What a skeeving little post that Anthony Andrews posted on his way out the door. Now, I heard the story a little bit different, and according to Anthony Andrews, the version I heard was filled with anger and hostility. But I don't think he is very excited that he got left. He's no longer in the NWA. I don't think that was a smart chess move. You know, so you got some people out here playing chess, and then you got some people out here playing checkers. I think Anthony Andrews is playing Go Fish, as in he's got to go fish his gear out of the river. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Thanks, Jay. I miss not seeing her anywhere. Yeah, it's a bummer. Like she's somebody who should be, I think, readily available on your television screen. She's such a great talent. She does the little things right. It's kind of like if you guys know who the Santino brothers are, you might have seen some of their talents in the world of pro wrestling. Their most biggest standout star from that family is Brody King in AEW. He is a standout from the Santino brothers, but so was Ruby Reyes and Bad Dude Tito, Eli Everfly, and of course Heather Monroe was part of that group as well. Sam brings up that she competed for the Burke against Jess. Yeah, yes, and the only reason why I didn't acknowledge that is because that was a Championship Wrestling from Hollywood TV taping, not an NWA show. So I didn't include it. But you're right, she did. And our buddy is here, the great Hisa under Showgain TV. Paladin says, "Nah, man, I dropped the hatchet years ago." Good for you. Hey, Jay, did you see the new Nick Aldis interview? No, I heard about it. I heard that he did acknowledge he hasn't retired yet, which is good. I want people to understand this, that I've always thought Nick Aldis was a fantastic wrestler. Just I don't like him as a human being, but I still don't even want to see him suffer. You know, I don't want his family to go hungry. Like, I want all the positive opportunities that are presented to him to continue to present themselves to him. I would love for him to get a contract with the WWE or you know, either behind the scenes or in front of the camera. I don't want the guy not to work. I'm just not his biggest fan. Demonetized Mike. Yes. I love it. It's so good. I always like when I come in. Your pal Adam. Hey, Eric Dell, what's up, man? I don't think you've joined us on the podcast before, the pre-party. So welcome to the show, buddy. We're here to talk NWA, so nice to see you here. Dodie says, West Coast still virgin area in the Lightning One era. I would love to see he doing Portland since Thermally started his career there. Portland would be awesome because I've never been, and I certainly wouldn't mind traveling to the Pacific Northwest to see some NWA. Plus, the hallmark of the NWA, that Portland territory, Don Owens, man, like that would be a cool place to run just for the historical purposes. You know, people always think about the NWA, and they always think about Jim Crockett Promotions, and JCP was it, right? But you forget that there was like, the Chase, wrestling at the Chase. You forget that there was stuff going down in Houston, the Paul Bosch Library. You forget that there was Don Owens. And Don Owens actually predated Jim Crockett Promotions and almost lasted longer than them, considering that Jim Crockett Promotions sold to Turner in 91, right? Yeah. I'm right on this one. Jim Crockett sold to Turner in 91, became WCW. Don Owens left the NWA in 92. So there you go. Jeez, Mike. Oh my God. I would not have put that on screen if I would have read that all the way. Jeez, man. Oh wow. Austin Green. What's up, man? Also a new face to the show. Thanks for checking us out today. Appreciate you stopping in. We are talking NWA. We're talking power. We're talking the new look and feel of the NWA. It's kind of exciting times. Paladin says, I liked Brody King until he started with wishing death on cops on Twitter, guys. Antifa scum. Oh, you're Paladin. Willie says, is Ruby Reyes Reina Del Rey in WoW? Yeah, Willie, yeah, absolutely she is. She doesn't really hide that. Yeah, she is 100%. I talked to her recently. They just finished up filming for the last season. I don't think they tape again until maybe December. And if they do, I'm going to try to get out to another show. Jody says, my obsession still on Billy's finally reconquered NWA's original territory: St. Louis, Kansas City, Chicago, Omaha, Detroit, Minneapolis, Columbus, Waterloo, and Des Moines. See, some of those places would actually be really smart places for Billy to run, not because they're huge wrestling towns, because they're not, but because they're so underserved that a wrestling show might do very well in a place that doesn't have 10 or 15 different options for wrestling. Let's think about it, man. Like here in Southern California, do you know why the NWA wouldn't do so well? Because it's not Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Because it's not WOW. Because it's not Lucha Vavoom. These places draw huge numbers. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood still gets about 400 people in Irvine. There's so much wrestling in Southern California. Every weekend, there's like 4 or 5 shows. Every night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Some shows go on Thursdays. Some go on Mondays. We have an embarrassment of talent when it comes to wrestling shows. And some of them are free. Like you could just walk up and show up. It's not a big deal. So I feel like that certainly waters down the market. And when you could go to a place like Waterloo, Iowa, that really doesn't have a regularly running wrestling program and might not get any involvement from the WWE or AEW, that's the place Billy should run, because that place he'll be treated like a rock star. Not that he isn't always treated like a rock star, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Dodie, I love you, man. Santino brothers. The Santinos were actually Mongol Santino and Joey Chaos from XPW. They started off as a tag team and then started training talents along with some other people from that group. Inspired by Mr. 80's Dynamite D. It's a whole other thing, and that's a whole other show. But essentially, Chaos made a vow to Dynamite D, who passed away a couple of years ago, that he would keep that dream alive. And Dynamite D trained a lot of wrestlers out here in Southern California. So to pay homage to that, to keep that flame alive, Chaos partnered with his partner, Mongol Santino. They called it the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. They've been around probably about 12 or 13 years now. And like I said, they've produced some of the best talent in the area. And a lot of those guys have gone on to do bigger and better. Steve G says, I still think Nick Aldis and Mickey James are bound for glory. That wouldn't be awful either. Impact certainly could benefit from the star power. Like I said, I'm just not a huge Nick Aldis fan. He's not going to move the needle for me, but that's not to say that he doesn't move the needle for a lot of other people. And I know he's talented. I know I don't have any problems admitting that dude is one of the most talented, underutilized wrestlers on the planet. Most guys with his tool set, his abilities, should be doing so much more in the world of wrestling. Should be in bigger and better places. Paladin loves Impact Wrestling. I mean, you should, man. They do a lot of things right. I think Impact gets shitted on far too much. I don't think they are nearly as bad as people put them out to be. So, let's see. Willie Bowen said, yes, she's still there. Steve G said, with regards to Ruby Reyes. Yes, Ruby Reyes. Yes. Eric Dill says, I think that video preview of the new season looks good. I might just be a sucker for lighting, though. I'm not going to lie, man. The lighting is awesome. I love it. It has a different feel to it. Whereas being at the Georgia Public Broadcasting Studios. Now, let me say this. Before I go any further, let me say this, that the last week's POWERRR tapings were the first POWERRR tapings I've been to since the first POWERRR tapings. I was there on September 30th and October 1st for the back-to-back tapings in Atlanta, Georgia, for the first set of POWERRR tapings at the Georgia Public Broadcasting Studio. That had a very much a Jim Crockett feel to it. It very much was the embodiment of studio-style wrestling. Now, that's not to say that what we're getting tonight isn't still studio-style wrestling, but it's so much different, and it has such a grittier feel to it. This isn't Jim Crockett Promotions. This is Billy Corgan's wrestling promotion. This is the NWA 2.0, and you're going to dig it. And if you like the lighting from that package, I mean, that's the lighting for the show. I kept going back and forth on my camera settings because I could get better pictures if I eliminated the lighting, but the lighting looks so much cooler in those pictures that I got an inferior product. It's kind of interesting. And if you subscribe to my Instagram account or whatever it is, follow it, you'll see there's a difference in the photo quality. Some of them will look like it's very clear and crisp, and some of them will look very dark and seedy. The dark and seedy ones were my favorite ones. Steve G says, I think Billy should consider doing a show in Portland. I mean, I do too. I think Portland would be a great market for them. Philadelphia, Vegas, NYC, LA, and Chicago, strong wrestling markets. Chris, I'm going to tell you, man, LA is not where they should go. And you might hear J. Cal saying this as a huge NWA fan. I'm telling you, they should not come to LA. I don't think it's a good move for them. And look, I would love to go to a wrestling show that's within an hour driving distance instead of having to get on a plane and fly somewhere. I would love to meet you guys in my neck of the woods and show you some of the best Mexican restaurants, take you guys to go see some of the cool stuff that California has to offer. I'm just telling you, LA is not going to do well for them. It's just not. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's an anti-NWA sentiment. I don't know if Marquez just conditioned the audience to expect one thing, but I don't think Billy Corgan is going to draw a huge gate to an NWA show in Los Angeles unless they do something extra. They bring in something extra. It's NWA versus New Japan. If it's NWA versus whoever, I feel like the only way you're going to get a big show in the LA market is if you do a team-up show. Crockett sold to Turner in November of '88, and yes, Owen had the last surviving territory in the U.S. from the territory days. I believe Flair even defended the title after the Turner buyout. See, there you go. I thought it was in '91. I thought Crockett sold. I didn't know it was as early as '88. So that changes everything. Wow. Okay. Well then, yeah, I stand corrected. Don Owen's the longest reigning NWA member. Like, they were almost in the beginning and lasted just about until the end of the big reign of the NWA from the 40s until the early 90s. Isn't Heather Monroe from Des Moines, Iowa? Might go to that show. Heather Monroe, I know that she was billed from Iowa. I think she was billed from Iowa. I know that she lived in California for a while. She obviously doesn't live here anymore. She was in Florida for a while. I think she's in the Midwest somewhere. I don't know where, though. Oddly enough, women wrestlers don't want to give me their addresses. It's the damnedest thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Very underrated. Eric Dell. An Iowan. Okay. Well, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, technically, I don't think she has in the NWA, it's not really good guy versus bad guy. It's varying shades of gray. The good guys wear the white hats and the bad guys wear the black hats. In the NWA, everyone's wearing gray. Ruby Reyes was featured on the UWN's Championship Wrestling, PBCS. Championship Wrestling. I don't know what that even is. This past week in a Let's Go Into the Vault match. Reyes is great. Reyes is somebody who I feel, even in WoW, I feel like they totally underutilize the character. I feel like she's way better than they allow her to be. I feel like she would be an asset to the NWA or any wrestling promotion for that matter. Pollo's in the house. What is up, Pollo? NWA set has that Twitch hot tub streamer look. What? You're not talking about Deshaun 2 cents, are you? Chris, that's a great point. AEW might be done with Chicago shows. In fact, I heard the exact opposite. I heard that they want to return to the United Center every year. So I don't know if that's true or not. Chris says, I mean, those markets have big shows, so it'll be hard for Billy. I don't think anything's going to be hard for Billy. It's just, what does he want to do? Where does he want to spend his money? And understand that there's going to be a direct correlation to what you book, what you promote, and where you promote it to your success. And you're going to have to try harder on the West Coast. You're going to have to try harder because you're competing with so much already. And I'm not trying to sound cocky or arrogant, but you're, depending on what season it is, you're competing against professional sports because we've got every team. We've got 2 of each team. Hockey, baseball, football. We got it all. Basketball, we got it all. You're also competing with just the regular attractions in California. Disneyland, Six Flags Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, the beaches, the mountains, the snow, the surf. There's everything to do in California, and this isn't a commercial. I'm not getting paid by the state of California to say these things, but it's hard to draw pro wrestling here. It just is. And even a promotion that gets so much notoriety like a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, they're not blowing out the doors. They're not like selling out of tickets. I mean, they do sometimes, but you get what I'm saying. They're not like, it's not hard to get a ticket to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. It's cool to see the NWA going to Philly, Vegas, and New York City, and hope Chicago will be another home for the NWA too, and of course St. Louis. Yeah, man, I agree with that. Steve says, I'm a big Heather Monroe fan. Wish her and Lacey Ryan could have finished their best of 7 at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, where you were able to catch any of those matches. They were epic battles. Yeah. No, NWA sold to Turner in 88. Weeks after Tolling Arn jumped ship to WWF, it spelled the end of the Classic Horseman era and a great many other things. There's only one truly defined babyface in the NWA. We all should have known, Poya. We all should have known. Oh, geez. Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield. That is a lot of letters, man. It's the alphabet of wrestling. See, and that's exactly my point. The NWA shouldn't be focusing on the West Coast. And that's what I'm saying. They should not come to the West Coast. I feel like the NWA is better suited for some of the smaller market territories that aren't getting a lot of wrestling. That's where I would put my energy. Because, look, wrestling is being viewed by millions of people every day. Not every single person who's watching WWE or Raw, SmackDown, Collision, or Dynamite. They're not watching. Not everyone in LA is watching that. Not everyone in Las Vegas is watching that. It's being seen by millions of people, right? So it's like there's people in Iowa, Idaho. There's people in North Dakota, South Dakota. And I'm not saying that it's only these states. I'm saying these are states that are underserved. Why not bring a touring product to those areas? I feel like that would be a much better reach. And California is also the size of 2/3 of the East Coast, which a lot of people don't realize either. We targeted mid-sized cities throughout the Southeast and portions of the Midwest, as you should. Again, I see. I feel like without knowing the game plan, your boy Jay kind of knows the game plan. Like, what is the benefit of going to, for example, Las Vegas? Actually, I kind of said Las Vegas would be a good spot, but maybe it wouldn't be for the same reason that Los Angeles wouldn't be a good spot. All right. Years ago, Nick Aldis told a delightful journalist named Hoyle Del Mar that NWA's targets are mid-sized cities which do not have the breadth of nightlife options of much larger cities. I mean, there you go. again, we were in St. Louis. You know what? I had Raluca and Tim and I. We went to a Hooters after Saturday night's pay-per-view because there were no other options for dining at 11 p.m. There's a lot of truth to what Poyo just said and what Nick told Poyo in that article. Doty says Portland needs to be first on the list if someday Billy wants to consider a West Coast at this time. Focus on Midwest and Southeast. Poyo, we asked. They said you weren't working. They said that you were busy. You said we got set up with Treasure, though. Treasure was not a treasure. Willie says Bakersfield, Fresno could be good venues for NWA Pro. Yes and no. And the reason why I say no, sorry, Eric just made me laugh. The reason why, I got to stop reading the comments. All of a sudden, I'm DKM over here. Bakersfield and Fresno, yes, for that point, they wouldn't be bad targets for the NWA if they were looking for a more secluded type place. But there are, like, Bakersfield is kind of supported by, they used to be Vendetta Pro Wrestling. Now I think they go by P3 or something like that. They do have a wrestling promotion that, I mean, they get huge numbers in that Santa Maria, Bakersfield area. It's really impressive. And I know that Pro Wrestling Revolution in the, I believe they're based out of, not Hayward, but like Oakland. I think Oakland. Or maybe it is San Francisco. I'm not sure. Poyo would know this. Poyo would definitely know this. But Pro Wrestling Revolution tends to go down to like the Santa Maria fairs. And I think they've done one or two shows in Bakersfield. So it's not like they don't get some traction. Now, some more comments from Poyo. I can't believe you didn't go to my section. Eric Dell says you have Hooters open after 11. Our Hooters in California, the ones that I know, I think they close around 11. So, like, it was kind of interesting in St. Louis to see one that was open till 1 a.m. Poyo says, honey, they call her Treasure because I keep hearing that. Dodie says, so is Hooters chicken recommended? Both the chicken and the chicken. We have one in Jakarta, but I think it's already closed. So I'll be honest, I hadn't been to a Hooters in probably 20 years. And it's a gimmick. The food's okay. I had a Philly cheese that wasn't really a Philly cheese, but it was good. It was enough to let me go to bed without a grumbly tummy. Poyle brings up the fact that please also remember travel to the West Coast is more expensive and those smaller airports are through the roof to fly into. That's a very good point. And like that's a long expedition from flying into LAX and then trekking to Bakersfield. That's like a 4-hour drive or so, maybe 3-hour drive. Poyo says PWR co-promotes in South San Francisco. I know they've done events in. I consider Gabe Ramirez a friend. He's been on this podcast in the past. They used to be associated with the NWA by way of David Marquez. Used to have a lot of Blue Demon World title matches in San Francisco and the surrounding areas. I know that they used to do fairs in Santa Maria. I know that they actually used to do the matches for the Cauliflower Alley Club as well, although those things have changed a lot. Poyle says that she likes the Hooter Wings. I didn't get them. I wasn't really feeling it. James Bell says, cost to operate on the West Coast is not worth it to the NWA at this time. Secondary, cities in the Midwest and South are a much better cost structure in which to operate. 100%. And that's the thing, like, got to keep in mind that this is a business first, right? Like, we love the NWA because we're fans. We want to see it succeed. We want it to come to our own towns. But you have to remember, too, that talent costs, transportation costs, lodging costs. And honestly, it's just California is not a cheap state. And I don't mean that negatively. I mean that's a negative thing for California, that everything is so damn expensive. Our gas prices are higher. Inflation has hit California pretty hard. And that's coming from somebody who loves the state. But, man, if I'm a wrestling promoter, I'd find other places to promote wrestling. Willie says, when I go to Hooters, I get the jumbo shrimp and mozzarella sticks. Yeah, man. Got to get those cheesy sticks. My daughter calls them fish sticks. And we're like, no, honey, those aren't fish sticks. Those are cheese sticks. So we go to the restaurant, and then we have to argue with her not to call them cheese sticks or fish sticks. The majority of our roster is located in and live in the Southeast. It's just easier to book in that area, which was also historically an NWA stronghold. Yeah, 100%. Right, James does get it. When we were in the Tennessee, Alabama, even Florida, many talents chose to drive, which again makes a lot of sense too. I don't know. So when I went to the last week with the NWA, I flew into St. Louis. I could have easily jumped on a plane and flown, half an hour to get to Nashville at the airport. I chose to drive in with my buddy Gary. We drove into Nashville together. Thankfully, I didn't get COVID. I know a lot of folks did who were at some of those tapings. So I hope all the talent is okay. But yeah, sometimes it's just easier to drive. Several even drove to Chicago. It's a personal choice. So, Willie, is Tyrus love Hooters? I mean, at this point, Tyrus would bankrupt Hooters, Doty. And there it is. So how's everyone doing today, man? Are you guys excited for tonight? Eric Dell says, it's not easy getting people to get out for a live event. Not everyone can activate a chip in people's brains like Taylor Swift to drive and turn out. I mean, you're right. But I will say this. I don't know how much advertising, local market advertising the NWA did for St. Louis, but they had a pretty decent sized crowd there. I would say there's probably close to 500, maybe 600 people in the Chase. I could be wrong. I'm not good at those estimations. I know there's a lot more than 200 people. The TV tapings, there's a lot less people, obviously. It's a Monday night, Tuesday night. It's in a studio. Like it's a whole thing to try to get in. But yeah, it was very it was good. There was a good turnout, and that was St. Louis, and that's the third year in a row now that they've been to St. Louis. Yeah, okay. So Poyo, my numbers were kind of in line then. There were about 600 people in St. Louis, about 150 in the studio, and I know, man. Make no mistake about it. If you plan to go to the TV shows, buy your damn tickets ahead of time. So you're not begging on the internet for a ticket. James Bell says old school wrestling talent driving the shows. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the way to do it. Matthew Underwood's in the house. What's up, Matt? Doty says Alabama is an interesting area to go to due to Ron Fuller's history. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's what Poyo said. There's a lot of there was a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of history in the NWA that Poyo alluded to, especially in the Southeast, that had those strong historical connections to the NWA, which is why it still makes sense to go to Nashville and do TV tapings or go and have a pay-per-view at the fairgrounds. That is historically a very strong NWA home. Polka Dot Pam says, nothing like an NWA live show. So much fun. Look, during the pandemic, I took a knee. I didn't go to any of the NWA events during 2021. I went to a few wrestling events during the pandemic, but not many. Most of them were local. I was in Long Beach for the Primetime Live, the first taping with the world title match between Mike Bennett and Nick Aldis. I did travel to Atlanta for the first Championship Wrestling from Atlanta at Center Stage. I did head out to Tijuana for a Crash show in 2021, but most of my traveling for wrestling happened this year. I do this every few days and it still amazes me. This year alone, 2023, I've been to Mesa, Arizona, Tijuana, Mexico City, Mexico. I won't count California cities, Las Vegas, Nevada, Philadelphia, technically Glassboro, New Jersey, St. Louis, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee. I still plan to go back to Vegas again. I still plan to I still have a few other things that I need to take care of before the end of the year. So your boy Jay has been to quite a few wrestling shows, and then last year was a lot too. Like I was in Nashville for the Crockett Cup last year. I was in Chalmette for Enough Said, right? No, Hard Times. Excuse me, Hard Times. So yeah, I got around this the last 2 years, and I plan to get around next year too. I appreciate that, Poyo. It was scary. Like I reached out to a few people within the NWA, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they're not letting anyone in." I'm like, "Shit, really?" Steve G said we had a bar wrestling event out here a couple months ago. Ray Rosas and Johnny Robbie were on the card. Bar wrestling a couple months ago? I mean, that was almost a year ago, brother. If you're talking about Joey Ryan's bar wrestling, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. Raising the Bar, that was a promotion by Johnny Yuma. That only lasted one show. Oh, geez. Sam says there's no lie. NWA Live is so much fun. James Bell says I like to see NWA versus New South and North Alabama. Even I'm excited to see today's episode, the debut of the new era, new look, and new feel for the NWA. Matthew Underwood says Biloxi would make for good for a town to book. New South, those big ass belts are so famous. Biloxi is one of those casinos, would be awesome. That's what I said, Chalmette. Yeah, no, I'll never keep up. I'll never keep up with Pam. Pam has been to so many freaking shows. Pam is the super fan I hope to be one day. But the one thing I'll say is Pam didn't go to China. I got that on her, right? I was in Mexico City with her, but she's got way more U.S. dates than I ever will. Jeremiah, I don't know what happened to that Yuma guy. He got into a spaceship and blasted off. I haven't seen him since. Casey, hey Casey, I think you're new to the show. Welcome to the show. Tallahassee would be cool. There's a lot of love for Biloxi. Pam, it's always a contest. You're just always winning. Shh. Retro says, I just saw an FBI file show about Biloxi. Great. We're all going to die in Biloxi. If the guy at the door tells you tickets are sold out, get indignant and ask him, did you know who the hell I am? See, Eric? Yes. No. Actually, what's funny is I did get taken care of. The NWA is very gracious to let me in. I all respects to Danny Deals. He hooked it up, so I'm very, very appreciative of that. I will say this. Speaking of Danny Deals, I do want to shout out that there is currently a deal right now for you. Labor Day deals, that's DEALZ 23. You get 20% off of merchandise. That's only good till midnight tonight Central Time. Labor Deals 23, 20% off. So I wanted to say that. But yeah, Danny got me in, and when he said, hey, just tell them that you're on my list. Tell them that you're here. I got you covered. I was like, great. And as I walked in, they're like, I said, I'm on Danny's list. And then everyone pointed at me, you're the podcast guy. Yeah, I'll take it. I'm the podcast guy. I was just happy to be there. It was awesome. Yeah. I was also in Yuma, Arizona to see Adam Pierce beat Sean Waltman in 115-degree weather. Dodie says, do we need Pam versus Sandoval in an electric barbed wire death match? No, you don't, because Pam wins. Pam wins. It was bar wrestling. Joey Ryan had nothing to do with it anymore. It was in Palmdale. It wasn't bar wrestling then. It might have been a wrestling promotion inside of a bar, but it wasn't bar wrestling. But I'm glad you got to check out live wrestling. Sam said, I was super pumped when they went to China. UWN in China was the NWA as far as I was concerned at the time. I mean, it still kind of was. Look, it was definitely promoted by the NWA as well. That's why they did 10 pounds of gold with it. That's why we had that match was aired on NWA's YouTube channel. Colt Cabana, Nick Aldis, Dave Lagana was there. Dave Marquez was there. It was an NWA matchup for sure. It was the United Wrestling Network show. No plans for NWA ring work. Okay, Pam, if you insist. I enjoyed NWA being affiliated with All Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, I mean, it's true. All Japan was a good relationship with the NWA back in the 80s, but I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Real quick, I know we kind of earlier in the show brought up the matches, but again, tonight we are going to see the women's TV title being defended. Of course, Max defending their championship against Tara. Now I'm messing up her name. Hold on a second. Let me look. How do I mess up her name? Taylor Rising. I want to call her Tara Rising. Taylor Rising. We also have in action the Immortals versus the Outrunners. This should be a really fun matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these guys bring to the table tonight. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here. Hold on just a second. Let's see. Also, we're going to see the Fixers LLC versus the Southern Six. Again, this is Matt Vine and Wrecking Ball Legursky. I forget who their partner's name is. I'm sure someone can fill me in the chat. And then the final nail in the coffin that is the Spectaculars. Brady Pierce bidding adieu to his former manager, tag team partner, Rolando Freeman. And, okay, Poyo just corrected me. His name is the Fixer. Thank you, Poyo. That's so bizarre. And they have nothing to do with Vinny the Fixer. Yeah. Oh, and see, and then JP chimed in too. The Fixer. The match was 3/18/23. Steve, you know what, Steve? I'll look it up. Bar wrestling was Joey Ryan. Raising the bar was Johnny Yuma. I don't think there's another bar wrestling out there. If there is, I wonder if they're using Joey Ryan's name without permission. Not that I care about Joey Ryan. It's just something I note. Let's see. I would love to see the Outrunners versus Midnight Heat too, Scooby. I think that would be a lot of fun. There are a lot of good. There are a lot of good tag teams that are on the fringe for the NWA. The Now. I want to see the Now back in the NWA. I want to see Midnight Heat, although they're not associated with the NWA. I want to see Midnight Heat join the NWA. I want to see more of Elliot Russell and Sigmund, the Heat Seekers. A lot of Heat names here. It's getting hot in the NWA. That was funny. Dave Scooby for Booker. I don't hate that. Dodie says Pam versus Jay versus Sandoval Firefly Funhouse. See, the difference is I will allow Pam and Sandoval to have that title. They are much more super fan than I am. They watch this show. They enjoy this show. They go to the shows. Sandoval has been like the rock that has been at a lot of the Atlanta tapings. Now he will be there back on for most of the Nashville tapings. Your boy Jay's only going to be there when it's convenient and it works out for me. That's just the honest truth. Yeah, Pam, of course we can get along. Pam, you and I hugged. If I had the ability to go on Instagram right now, maybe I can. Maybe I'll pull it up right now. I'll let you tag me, but I haven't been able to jump onto Instagram yet today. Oh, that's the thing that Heebs tagged me in. Well, I know. I thought I got tagged with something else. I guess not. Anyways. Yes, we all can get along. Pam is my buddy. I finally got to hang out with Pam. We're good. There's no heat. We got no beef. If you can read this shirt, we got beef. I'm not Ziggy Dice. I don't want to be on Pam's side. Look at it. That's why I'm out here trying to express how great Pam is. Steve G says NTLL. Yeah, okay, so NTLL is actually, that's a promotion you should be checking out in Palmdale. I forgot you're in Palmdale. They just had a matchup with Hammerstone and I don't know. Hammerstone is a regular there. He holds their championship title. They do a lot of Lucha Libre. NTLL, if I could make it out to Palmdale, that would be a show that I'd check out. They're awesome. I like that a lot. Jody says the link is out. Okay, guys, you got 5 minutes to go get ready for it. Sam, if I'm ever around you and Pam, I will introduce you. Oh, Hunky Plunk. That's my new favorite name for Jeremiah Plunkett. Oh, Hunky Plunky. That's great. Man, you guys definitely make Tuesdays so much fun. I do value your time. There's lots of things you could be doing with your day, and you choose to spend an hour of it with me every Tuesday, and I'm very appreciative of it. If you wouldn't mind, can you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already? Got a lot of new viewers today. Hope you guys continue to stick around and enjoy our podcast. We do 3 different shows, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Today is the pre-party. Wednesdays, it's Jeremy, Dave Scooby, and Tim from the Alliance Gold. They do the other Alliance guys where they talk about the United Wrestling Network, MLW, the NWA, and more. And then on Thursdays, you have the original Alliance Guys podcast, which is me, DKM, and Jaden. And we talk NWA, we talk wrestling, and we like to have a good time. So I do appreciate you guys being here each and every week, each and every day that we're live. Also, if you prefer to listen to these podcasts as opposed to watching them, we also have content available at the Alliance blog on Spotify, on iTunes, on anywhere you get your podcasts from. Roswell's in the house. What's up, Roswell? Poils. Oh, you guys are talking about something else. I won't get involved. Okay, my camera's about to die. We've got a couple minutes towards power. I'm going to say goodbye early today. You guys have been great. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. And until next time, we will see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA POWERRR every Thursday at 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we